Nehemyah, Nehemiah chapter 9. And on the 24th day of this new moon, the children of Israel were assembled with fasting, and in sackcloth, and with earth on them. And the descendants of Israel separated themselves from all foreigners, and stood and confessed their sins and the crookednesses of their fathers. And they stood up in their place and read from the book of the Torah of Yah their Elohim a fourth part of the day. And the fourth part they were confessing and worshiping Yah their Elohim. Then Yeshua and Bani, Kadmiel and Shebaniah, Buni, Sherebiah, Bani, Kenani, stood on the stairs of the Levites, and cried out with a loud voice to Yah their Elohim. Then the Levites, Yeshua and Kadmiel, Bani, Hashabneiah, Sherebiah, Hodiah, Shebaniah, Pethahiah, said, Rise, bless Yah your Elohim forever and ever, and let them bless your esteemed name, which is exalted above all blessing and praise. You are Yah, you alone, you have made the heavens of the heavens, with all their hosts, the earth and all that are on it, the seas and all that are in them, and you give life to them all, and the hosts of the heavens are bowing themselves to you. You are Yah, the Elohim, who chose Abram, and brought him out of Ur of the Chaldees, and gave him the name of Abraham, and found his heart trustworthy before you, and made a covenant with him to give the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Jebusites, and the Girgashites, to give it to his seed. And you have established your words, for you are righteous, and saw the affliction of our fathers in Mitzrayim, and heard their cry by the sea of reeds, and gave signs and wonders against Pharaoh, and against all his servants, and against all the people of his land. For you knew that they acted proudly against them, and you made a name for yourself, as it is this day. And you split the sea before them, and they passed over into the midst of the land on the dry land, into the midst of the sea on the dry land. And their pursuers you threw into the deep, as a stone into the mighty waters. And you led them by day with a cloudy column, and by night with a column of fire, to give them light in the way they were to go. And you came down on Mount Sinai, and spoke with them from the heavens, and gave them straight right rulings in Torah of truth, good laws and commands. And you made known to them your set-apart Sabbath, and you commanded them commands and laws in Torah by the hand of Moshe your servant. And you gave them bread from the heavens for their hunger, and brought them water out of the rock for their thirst, and said to them to go in to possess the land which you had sworn to give them. But they and their fathers acted proudly, and hardened their necks, and did not obey your commands. And they refused to obey, and they remembered not your wonders that you did among them, and hardened their necks. And in their rebellion they appointed a leader to return to their bondage. But you are a forgiving Eloah, showing favor and compassionate, patient, and of great loving commitment, and did not forsake them. Even when they made a molded calf for themselves, and said, This is your mighty one that brought you up out of Mitzrayim, and worked great blasphemies. Yet you, in your great compassion, did not forsake them in the wilderness. The column of the cloud did not turn away from them by day, to lead them on the way, nor the column of fire by night, to give them light in the way they were to go. You also gave your good spirit to instruct them, and did not withhold your manna from their mouth, and gave them water for their thirst. And for 40 years you sustained them in the wilderness. They lacked not. Their garments did not wear out, and their feet did not swell. And you gave them reigns and peoples, and apportioned them their lot. So they took possession of the land of Sihon, and the land of the sovereign of Heshbon, and the land of Og, sovereign of Bashan. And you increased their children as the stars of the heavens, and brought them into the land which you had said to their fathers to go in and possess. So the sons went in and possessed the land, and you humbled before them the people of the land, the Canaanites, and gave them into their hands with their sovereigns and the people of the land, to do with them as they desired. And they captured walled cities in the rich land, and possessed houses filled with all good, cisterns already dug, vineyards and olive trees, and fruit trees in plenty. So they ate and were satisfied and grew fat, and delighted themselves in your great goodness. But they became disobedient and rebelled against you, and cast your Torah behind their backs. And they killed your prophets, and had warned them to bring them back to yourself. And they worked great blasphemies. Therefore you gave them into the hands of their enemies, who distressed them. And in the time of their distress, when they cried to you, you heard from the heavens. And according to your great compassion, you gave them saviors who saved them from the hand of their enemies. But after they had rest, they turned back to do evil before you. Then you left them in the hand of their enemies, so that they ruled over them. But when they turned back and cried out to you, you heard from the heavens and delivered them according to your compassion many times, and warned them to bring them back to your Torah. But they acted proudly, and did not obey your commands, and sinned against your right rulings, which if a man does, he shall live by them. And they gave the rebellious shoulder, and hardened their necks, and would not hear. And you had patience with them for many years, and did warn them by your Spirit, by the hand of your prophets, yet they would not give ear. Therefore you gave them into the hand of the peoples of the lands. But in your great compassion you did not make an end of them, nor forsake them, for you are an El of favor and compassion. And now our Elohim, the great, the mighty, and awesome El, guarding the covenant and the loving commitment, let not all the trouble that has come upon us, our sovereigns and our heads, our priests and our prophets, our fathers, and on all your people, from the days of the sovereigns of Asher until this day, seem little before you. And in all that has come upon us you are righteous, for you have done truth, but we have done wrong. And our sovereigns, our rulers, our priests, and our fathers have not done your Torah, nor heeded your commands and your witnesses with which you witnessed against them. For they have not served you in their reign, or in your great goodness that you gave them, or in the large and rich land which you set before them, neither turned back from their evil deeds. See, we are servants today, in the land that you gave to our fathers to eat its fruit and the good of it. See, we are servants in it, and its rich yield goes to the sovereigns who have set over us because of our sins, and they rule over our bodies and our livestock at their pleasure, and we are in great distress. And because of all this, we are making a trustworthy pledge and write it, and our rulers, our Levites, our priests set their seal on it.